Yeah, so thank you very much, Marty. I've really enjoyed, everybody can hear me okay?
Yep, we hear you great.
Yeah, great. I've really enjoyed my association with Marty. Paul Perez has been a classmate of mine since I graduated Stanford in '87, and they introduced me to Connect Our Kids, and it's been a great experience for me. I've been not only, as he said, as Marty said, a CASA, which is a court-appointed special advocate for foster children, where I actually took on cases. And I also ran in my prior life a database company that did database searches and credit background checks on apartment residents. And so anyway, this seemed like a perfect match for me. So I met the company. I think the world of them. I've become quite a sponsor of them. I personally buy all the Texas searches now, in addition to other donations. And so what I have is a little presentation I can just kind of walk people through the status. Can everybody see that on this? Let me see this.
I don't see, you just have to do a share screen. Okay, I see it coming up. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so this is our this is kind of our latest fundraising deck and update. Connect Our Kids is founded on the belief that every child needs to be connected to the world, connected to his family, connected to kin somehow. Let's see here. So the problem we're dealing with is that there are 650,000 children a year that go into foster care in the US, which is just a shockingly high number. On any given day, like today, there's 400,000 children likely to be in foster care somewhere. An even worse outcome is that about 20,000 children every year age out of foster care. And if you age out, that means when you leave foster care, you have no family, no connections, really no support. You're 18 years old. You are probably challenged in almost every way in terms of housing, food, healthcare, et cetera. You are in a very tough situation. And so we're heavily focused on trying to solve that problem, but also just trying to solve it for all the 400,000 kids who are in foster care, trying to make sure that everyone gets a shot at the best possible placement. The problem exists mostly because you've probably read in the news that foster child protective services and other state agencies are just woefully underfunded, not near enough budget and people, not near enough technology to help their people find the connections that the kids need. Social workers use kind of Post-it notes, Excel spreadsheets, old-fashioned searches. They take notes, put in files, and the kids are often in foster for well over a year. They may have 2 or 3 different child protective services caseworkers who don't share information very well. And then when I was a CASA, for example, I had one kid, Mike, I was the caseworker for. He was in 7 different foster environments before we found him a connection. And so, the problem is just, again, a combination of tough circumstances, lack of money, lack of training, lack of technology. So we came along and Connect Our Kids developed a platform, an enhanced solution to uncover and track the connections that the kids probably have. This technology was developed by the people who developed similar one, actually, for finding terrorist connections in the US NSA. The technology basically helps those caseworkers find a connection, identify the way it's tracked, communicate with them. I've used it on a case, and you get every single phone number the person's ever had, every email, everybody who lived next to them, everybody they associated with, and it really allows you to quickly contact people associated with this kid. So I've only been involved in 3 months, but since the company's been around, the software has been used to handle 11,000 different cases with 18,000 children. So every one of those kids is getting a better shot at better placement. We have 3,000 users who are registered to use our service, looking for placements for kids. One of the challenges is that each user doesn't use it that often. So there's kind of difficult learning curves. We're working on addressing that. Each user case, they end up identifying about 35 connections. those could be pretty far. They could be neighbors, they could be parents of friends. But we find the connections wherever they are. We have users in about 40 states currently. This is a graph of our cases started per month. You can see it's been growing steadily. Marty, I don't know when you got involved first, but if it was a couple of years back, we're probably at least 50 to 60% bigger than we were.
Wow, yeah, we had a very nice event in San Francisco for these guys, maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah, so we've had significant growth along the way, although one of our big accounts had budget problems, and that's caused us some more recent problems. Total connections that we are searching, again, has been consistently going up. And then another great thing, before I was really enamored to give money and all that to this and really get involved, is like, okay, does this really work? And we've been talking to a lot of users, a lot of the power users, getting endorsements and making sure that it is really doing what it's supposed to. Not far from Austin, there's a guy, Dave Fowler, who is the expert for Texas searches. That's this CASA Volunteer Texas. I love how Connect Our Kids is a collaborative platform. It's really nice for us to be able to work on that platform, start building out the case together. He takes the lead on each case, doing the searches and setting up the family tree and all that. And then the case volunteers go out and contact those people, find more connections, and he builds out the whole file for each kid.
Hey, Rich, is the technology itself like groupware where, your guy near Austin does all the work and then it's out in a folder that anybody can access who's involved with the case, or is that how it works?
Well, different people are using it different ways. Some of the caseworker environments, like the one in Casa, Texas, they've identified they set up a power user who then takes the lead on documenting the case, setting it up in the COK platform, and then he brings in the volunteers and they kind of work it together, but he's really the lead.
Yep.
Other situations like the one that I talked to in Ohio, they have more intense professionals on each case. Each of their professionals has about 8 or 10 cases going, and they use it all the time. It's partly also important because if you're a caseworker and trying to get money to support your efforts, you have to document that you are indeed looking for and finding placements for kids. And part of how they document all the contacts is in the Connect Our Kids platform. In other words, it's not just okay to say, okay, I talked to the kid's best friend's mom who told me this, or that I finally found his aunt, or I found his stepdad. All those communications go into COK. And so some of the caseworkers, again, use it very intensively just themselves. Others, it's much more collaborative. It's set up to be either way. Here are some of the big groups that we have using our product. The NOAS, that's the Northern Ohio Adoption Service. Texas CASA, that I was a member of. A couple of these other ones in Florida, Montana, and Missouri. Cornerstones of Care was really great. They're our best case study. They started using the software in 2021, and this is the percentage of kids that they have placed into a kinship placement. A kinship placement is something that's family or close to, and it basically doubled their ability to get kids into kinship placements. So this is really our shining star, and we are hoping to find more agencies that will adopt the software and get these kind of results, because some of the agencies do very poorly in terms of once a kid's in foster, it takes a long time to get them out into a kinship, and sometimes not, and oftentimes not successful at all. We've done some work. It's hard to really nail it down, the total impact of foster care and our potential impact on it. We have plenty of documentation that each child that ages out has and will cost about $500,000 to basically to society in one way or the other. He's gonna be poorly educated. He's gonna have a lot of social problems due to lack of a family. He's gonna possibly be homeless. He's just not been a supported child, and that is, very, very expensive. And so we are kind of working on ways of expressing it that way, but we feel like there's billions of dollars at stake if every kid gets a connection and every kid gets a kinship placement. We've done some more of this kind of work. We're hoping to serve 10% of the foster care world in the near future. And we feel like the impact that we can make, not only financially, but just the importance in kids' lives is substantial and growing. And so we are.
And Rich, the cost of Connect Our Kids is in these 27 databases plus that they access. There's the cost of accessing databases, and then there's the cost of training people. What other costs are involved?
Yeah. Okay. So we are. Yeah. It's funny. It's a low cost basis, but a high cost world. So the actual searches, some of those are paid. We're paying database companies. Then we are getting security certifications. So, we have to run all this on a software platform. It has to be secure. And so we're just getting through the secure level 2 certification process on that. And then we are training the users to use the product. And that requires, a new social worker comes into Ohio or Las Vegas, and they're expected to use the software. We train that person and support them in the use, and that's expensive. When you get a power user, it's really quite cheap per case. But the getting people trained, getting people using the software, getting them, we need top-down support from their organization, and then we provide kind of lateral support to say, here's how you use it. Yes, this is a good idea. We can, help desk, that kind of stuff.
And Rich, just to clarify, this is free software. They give it away to the social workers, correct?
No, we technically charge. There's different arrangements. They are trying. It's interesting. So this is part of our financial problem. We are trying to charge money for it in hopes that they will pay for it like a regular product. But since they have very low budgets, and that's a very long, slow way to go, we're also, for example, when I got involved in this, I said, personally, I'm going to pay for every search in the state of Texas. However, I'm not paying for the cost right now. I give money otherwise, but I'm not paying, for example, I'm not hiring the trainers that train the CASA workers that are doing the searches. Does that make sense in terms of?
Yep.
Yeah, our problem is it's kind of the overhead of it. It's not once you get someone who knows how to use it, doesn't need a phone call, doesn't need support, doesn't need training, signs on, uses it, it's actually pretty cheap. But getting people to that point in a high turnover world is part of our challenge.
Right. Yep.
So we are encouraging this group, among others, to please continue to support us, spread the word on this. It's a problem that's a huge problem around the country. Like I said, there's 400,000 kids in foster care tonight. And some of them are getting really great caseworkers who do a great job of finding them a kinship placement. But some of them aren't, a lot of them. And we want to try to change that. And we are a new technology applying to an old problem. And we're going to need more money to keep this thing alive and going.
Rich, if you get a chance, you should talk to Sarah Oken, who instead of having people donate money, she has them donate things, and she converts that into money via auction online. So she's actually right here in the room with us.
Oh, sure. I'd love to talk to Sarah. Yeah, I'm trying to come up with a pitch, more of a proposal to say, we're still working with the company to say, we want donor, you're a donor, someone's a donor. We want you to support this in your state. And, there's 20,000 kids in foster in your state. We need this many searches. We need this many trainers, and you're helping those 20,000 kids. And here's what we need to do that next year.
And the largest state is California, right? California has like 70,000, 80,000 kids in foster care.
Yeah, I'm sure that's got to be right. I don't know the number though.
And I think LA has about 45,000. So just Los Angeles alone. So, but I know there's something that we're doing with Bristol Arts, which is another not-for-profit that we work with, is that, there's a lot of people who want to donate art to them and then, have them sell it. And you're using Alan Snyder, who's also, does collectibles. So he's actually in LA, so he might be a good person for you to meet at some point.
Yeah.
That's Alan Snyder from A-ShareX. So just in general, so do you have a target for what you're looking to raise this year, or? I know.
Well, we really need to raise $1 million. We need
$1 million.
We have a burn rate that is in the zip code. I mean, we have a lot of our people are currently volunteering to pay our people, and to make this work, we need $100,000 a month. I'm making this dent in that, but we need a lot more. We need $100,000 a month is what we're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, the way it was explained to me by Jen, I guess, who runs the group, was that the reason why they were not charging people initially was because the regulatory environment, getting this past state bureaucracies is so overwhelming. Getting a product like this approved in California is very difficult over time. I think they got approval in a couple, like Ohio and Alabama, and then the rest of the people, they were kind of working with in a different way. So
yeah, they have the Dave Phillips Foundation has been very supportive, and so they'll come in and support it on behalf of some group. But getting the primary state caregivers to do it is just a long, slow process. That's part of also why we have to do the level 2 security certification. That's that kind of stuff that gets in the way of just saying, here, use it, make it happen, help these kids out. So that's why our budget is so, where it is.
Right. I mean, right now you're very capital efficient, I guess I'll say.
Yeah, although we have too many people who are kind of volunteering in, and we want them to be paid trainers. We're getting a lot of volunteer work that really we need to start paying for, including our officers and that sort of thing.
Right. Is there some better way to communicate out to people? What Connect Our Kids does, or any thoughts on that? I mean, we offered social media. We did some social media for them, before December last year during, the tax planning season. Any thoughts on that?
I'm not that much of an expert. I don't think the company is, but I mean, we're open. Anyone in this group has suggestions, we'd love it. We've been kind of taking the approach of we're really trying to get through to the major care organizations. We're kind of going on a B2B kind of approach. And that may not be really right, but that's what we've been doing. We talked about trying to say, okay, can we set this up where an individual caseworker without support from their boss can hop onto this and start doing casework? Can they, start documenting, et cetera? But we haven't really found a way to get through to those people.
Sure. We have a question from the audience.
Yeah, from the picture, and also maybe mentally, I'm thinking that majority of these caseworkers are female.
Most likely, yeah, generally.
So there's another platform that just, I think, won the presidential initiative check that they're providing actually support to female regarding some of the specifics, female related, I'm assuming that even the caseworkers themselves potentially need some assistance with, psychology and handling life itself, or do you feel there may be some synergies between, it's called March Health, March of Health.
Say that again, I didn't understand March.
March Health?
March.health, if you look at
March.health.
Okay.
So they offer essentially online resources to essentially female audience, primarily actually some of it is related to the fertility matters, but some of the issues there, but mission-wise, there may be some commonality in terms of the need of even the caseworkers for their own personal issues. I don't know whether.
Hey, Rich, there was another comment. So John Cataldi, did you guys ever get in touch with John? John is the former president of the Seminole Indian tribe, and they own the Hard Rock Cafe.
I think our CEO Jennifer is working with that.
Yeah, I just urge you guys to be more aggressive with them, because there's a grant making body from the wealthy Indian tribes.
Yeah.
Because I think that the foster care system has a higher proportion of indigenous Americans than an average in the society.
Yeah.
So I think John has already spoken to people about their grant making. He's spoken already to the grant making organizations. It's a matter of you guys, kind of following through on what he can do.
I'm pretty sure. I'll check with Jennifer. Jennifer's the CEO. I'm pretty sure that she is communicating with him on that, but I don't know the status right offhand.
Great. Yeah.
No, but
listen, Rich,
about all that.
This is great, and we're going to be in Los Angeles during Milken conference, and I'd love to have you again either present via Zoom or in person, because I think it's a really big issue in California and Los Angeles in particular.
Yeah.
So
I'd love to stay involved, and I've enjoyed being part of this, today, and love to stay involved.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people in our group have I would say 50 to 100 people have been involved in Connect Our Kids one way or the other over time. Just from the event that we ran in San Francisco, we had 50 people there just for Connect Our Kids. So, and I think one person made a grant for that, and then we had the other grant that came out of Philadelphia Family Office.
If anyone has leads to that, or those offices want to get back in touch with me, I can give them more of an update and try to get people more involved, especially in their area. If we can come up with this program where we say, well, here's what it's going to cost in your area to help foster kids, maybe we can kind of put that package together and get some real donors.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a strategic way to present it in a targeted way, and probably you'll be more effective just by being targeted.
Yeah.
Than kind of having a scattershot approach, But I would say LA is a great place to really reach out to. So, well, listen, Rich, thanks so much. This is great.
Okay, well, thank you, everybody.
You guys are still making some progress, and I'm hoping we can reconvene the executive committee sometime in the near future and have a call where we can bring 20 people together and talk about ways to get you guys moving further.
That would be great. Thank you.
Fantastic.